So welcome everyone. This is the Transformative Vertical Flight Working Group on the Public Services. This is meeting number 84. Today is Thursday, March 21st, 2024. Delighted to have everybody join the meeting, and hopefully some that cannot join in time will be able to go through the recording as well. So today, link up to our meeting last month that we had Gwen and team talking and carry on a very engaging Q&A session on the Go Aero project. It was delightful to see that project got kick off. And I was going to present this portion of the topic right after Gwen's presentation, but we had such a good discussion. It really doesn't make sense to terminate the meaningful discussion halfway there. So I think we have a wonderful session last time, and therefore we are presenting this part of the topic highly linked to the Go Aero mission. So you can almost consider this portion as a part 2 of our ongoing dialogue on this part. Now, the title for today's presentation part is the use of eVTOL aircraft for first responder, police, and medical transport applications. This is based on an SAE Edge report we just released not too long ago. And the following this part of the presentation and discussion, we're going to recap a roundtable discussion that we had in February at the Vertical Flight Society's meeting, Transformative Vertical Flight 2024 session. And along with that, we're going to talk about, recap a little bit what we talked about, as well as the white paper, the next white paper, what we may be able to focus on. And I'm going to ask Dr. Pavel, Marina Pavel, to join us on that discussion as well. So I know we have some new members, and so many of our members know me pretty well, or hopefully not everything. But for those who joined us more recently, I'm John Du. I'm the president of International Vehicle Research, a small company that do some development work on the related field, as well as some corporate consulting advisement and so on. And I have actually, I say over 30 years, so that I don't let go of my age, but actually it's beyond that. The easiest thing to have a brief introduction of myself is to show a picture, if I can. There you go. Okay, yeah, no, there you go. So my passion is that everything that flies, whether it's a hovercraft, general aviation propeller airplane, personal jet, high performance bid jet, power plant, industrial drone. I even took a flight in the lift Hexa late last year. I have to say that's a wonderful experience, and further it strengthened my belief in that everything that we're doing is achievable and meaningful. So with that, I'm going to move to the presentation part of it. If I can find the share part of it. Okay, there you go. I can share that one. I don't think they let me share it. Oh, stop sharing first. How's that? And reshare. I'm still managing this wonderful Zoom meeting system. All right, I think I found the file. There. Do you see a shared presentation title there?
We can. It's not full size yet, though, Johnny.
Yeah, getting there. How about that?
Nailed it.
Hey, I'm really getting good at this. All right, we already talked about the title. It's eVTOL for first responder, police, and medical transport application. Now, as I said, this is just a little background. The Transformative Vertical Flight Working Group, we have, I need to update this slides. We don't use the numbers anymore. And so we're focusing on two major sections on the commercial and public services. And the topic of this talk really was the fifth SA Edge report that based on the almost based on the NASA white paper that we have published before. The series of SA Edge report kind of break it down into 5 so far. I mean, we had 2 more forthcoming. Focusing on the different use cases. Each one we talk about the opportunity, the development, the challenges, and benefits. And this particular one is exactly the title I used for the presentation. But as you can see, any of you have been participating in our last month meeting about the Go Aero or the other meetings that Go Aero has organized lately. The Go Aero is focused on the first responder applications. As you can see, it's really a perfect partnership between what we're trying to accomplish and what the Go Aero will enable and drastically expand the outreach into a much broader participation basis. So I'm just, so excited about what's going on right now. And as we all have seen that this space, the eVTOL AM advancement is just, especially the last year, 6 months, we've seen so many projects making major milestone progress from development, flight test, certification, and so on. So it only makes sense that we leverage all this wonderful work and opportunities to do some good. And of course, this is some of the basic missions that we have identified earlier. Try to summarize into a few categories, but it's way beyond that, actually. And this particular topic about the first responder, police, and medical transport. And we kind of dive into the rapid first responder deployment and on-demand police mobility, aerial medical transport, which covers also the deploying emergency medical services, bringing patients to treatment center, maybe as a step 2 of the capability expansion, and transferring patients for continued care for maybe longer range, almost to the regional transport capabilities. Some of you might debate about the police mobility, but if you realize that police actually, in many cases, are really part of the first responder community. And if you can see on the right-hand lower corner, that's most
There's
of
us
our...
right there.
I'm sorry?
Oh, sorry. I apologize. I'm mute.
No problem. If you take a look at the right-hand lower corner, that's our contributor for this report, and you probably recognize most of them are our team members. So careful what you when you join our team, that you may get drafted to do work, which will be a wonderful thing. And for rapid first responder deployment, some of us have more knowledge. I mean, I am gaining knowledge about as we're working on this working group, I'm learning a lot about what the first responder means and what do they do, which also including firefighters, EMT, paramedic, and so on. They really, it's lifesaver. What else can I say? So I always appreciate the common practice that whenever there's a siren going on and when we're driving on the highway, that will pull over to the side and let the emergency responder pass, which is just the right thing to do and really helping people who's in need. But if you look at the picture there, that's an illustration that Carl was able to put together for us, that showing that in some cases, especially with congested traffic and so on, the ability to go fast or even go further, fast sometimes means further within the time frame of be able to respond to emergency or medical emergency accidents or whatever may be, that make a difference. That's a life-saving event or capabilities that we may be talking about here. And of course, on-demand police mobility, the timely response in many cases make a difference, as we said, just like the medical situation. And challenging and time-critical situation occurs a lot in our life. But there's a challenging how to apply this into a real world scenario, which including training operation. Not everybody think, I talked to some first responder organizations and the fire chief and so on, realize that in many cases, there's still lack of information or understanding and knowledge about what is involved, how hard it is to use one of those, how hard it is to operate one of those or manage it. All those are valid questions, and that's what, as a working group, I think it's meaningful for us to really engage the user community to and the developer OEMs to make sure that we make user-friendly, operator-friendly, easy to maintain service or minimum maintenance and service requirement, so that we can keep up the mission capable rate as high as we can, because in this kind of mission, we need them fully capable whenever it's needed. And of course, the aerial medical transport is one of the areas that eVTOL can play a big role. Of course, deploying emergency medical services, as we said, that in some cases it could be a short range, could be medium range, depends on the scenario, situation, location, and between the urban situation, suburb operation, or rural operations, that the needs and the possible mission can be different. And also, in some cases, so we need to bring the patient, the first step, of course, is to go out, reach the patient. If we can stabilize the patient, take care of them, in order to make sure that when the transport arrives, it could be a ground transport, could be later on the aerial transport capability get deployed. So that, but the first thing first, it's got to get there. I think Carl Dietrich will tell you all about that criticality. But also there's another one, what's commonly called as a secondary transport, is transferring patient for continued care. In some cases, goes through multiple modal transportation and reaching the other side, reaching the specialty hospital or the major hospital complex that has the proper medical professional that can treat certain issues and so on. Those patients, in many cases, if we can minimize the changes and reduce the transport time, that can make a big difference as well. So we have two types of patient transport. One is an emergency, the other one will be a secondary transport. And of course, there's always challenge and require development, building, how to engage government, user community, industry collaboration. Put everybody together, talk to each other, make sure that we put the resources in development and engagement or deployment in the right way, in a meaningful way. And of course, we probably going to need more mission-tailored eVTOL development, which you're glad to see some are started happening right now, and we probably should encourage the industry to engage more. And of course, autonomy, sensor suite, detect, avoid capability, because those machines are going to be operated by medical professional, firefighters, police officers, and so on. We don't want to put too much burden on those professionals, but rather they will be able to jump in and use the platform to serve the mission. So, and of course, simplified vehicle operation, training, maintenance, as I mentioned, those are criticality that has to be built into the platform. The picture is showing that was me sitting in the eVTOL ground simulator training and short training that can fly the vehicle. The same thing that some of the situation we need to design the platform so that it can accommodate certain patient transport devices, like the one showing the picture there. And additional, following the last page, we need distributed vertiport. We're going to get place to take off, land, and we also need a vehicle able to land at unprepared location, because a lot of emergency response, we can take off from a police station, EMS operation center, or even hospital, but you're going to be landing at unprepared locations in many cases. And of course, system safety, reliability, and dispatch rate is critical. Of course, dynamic flight management, aerospace control, as I was mentioned, that we have a good practice right now that whenever the siren comes on, we, most of us, 98% of us, will pull to the side of the road and let the emergency vehicle pass, and that has to be built into as the eVTOL become or AAM or UAM become very more popular, well deployed. The ability to prioritize the flight paths and capabilities will be critical for first responder operations. And of course, this being an unconventional use cases and operating mode, and we need the user community to engage and start practicing and start trial tests on how to operate, so that we can perfect the planning, the setup, and the systems. And of course, that is something that talk about training, that someday we might be able to embed the gaming and training into the recruitment. We're not going to spend too much time talking about that here, but that will be we'll be working on the SA report on this, hopefully. Of course, we talked about where we can send people out on emergency response. Of course, one of the possibility is leveraging the GA airport. I think that was almost a semi-ready-made locations that, while we're waiting for more vertiport to be built, why not take advantage of existing ones that we can take advantage of? And of course, there's people that we probably have a high school football field, and so hey, looks like a pretty good landing field, right? To me, anyway. And of course, support, logistic, we may, depends on if it's a fixed base operating mode, we don't necessarily have to have this, unless we reach out the range limitation, the end of the eVTOL range coverage. And if we reach the end of the battery, or say 20% battery usage, then we have to land, and we hopefully by that time we have reached the patient. But how do you get the vehicle back? Well, maybe a mobile charging stations and so on that will be able to recharge the vehicle and fly back. Either some operator be there or the remote operation bring the vehicle back to the station. And so now, of course, if it's a disaster response and so on, then we need bigger scale deployment capability. So what's the benefit? Yeah, I think it's almost without saying, saving lives. Yeah, that's really the number one and the major focus on this. And improve, it's not replacing any of the capabilities, but rather operational effectiveness and readiness enhancement. We can complement that capability. And of course, there are some environmental benefits. Most of these platforms are battery powered or battery power with different or advanced energy, maybe hydrogen powered fuel cell. Even with the vehicle with the range extender, overall efficiency compared to the ground vehicles and so on may still have some environmental benefit. Why not, right? While we're helping people saving lives, we do some good for the planet. And of course, by having this capability, we can really helping more people. We can save more lives. And as we do that, I think the public will see that, the neighbors might be benefited from this. And the next time somebody is taking a air taxi, eVTOL air taxi, they will say, oh yeah, why not? Okay, yeah, it's for the benefit of the public good. So I think we can, by doing good things, by for good mission operation, we can make a difference in that aspect as well. And of course, Carl also provided this chart that showing that how critical a few minutes can make a difference between life and death. And the speed, that's why Jump Aero's platform focusing on speed, how fast you can reach the patients, and that's critically important. In other cases, just ability to get there in some hard to reach areas and so on, if the bridge is down, the roads damaged and so on, just even be able to get there will make a difference. And of course, fundamentally, what we think we can do is, the Public Service Working Group and the Go Aero, they really have a common vision and goal. And so we're going to do everything we can to support the Go Aero and partnership with them, and probably bring even louder voice to the industry, to the government, and the end user. And we need to embrace the use of it. Hopefully, we will encourage more mission-specific eVTOL development and trial operations and so on. So we can do testing, pilot operations, and hopefully that will quickly demonstrate the functionality and capabilities. Will make a difference. Well, again, as I say on the right the picture, helping people saving lives. Why not? Right? Well, here's it. We might as well make good use of the AAM advancement. That's basically my part of the presentation on this. So we have a few minutes. Let me open up for any comments and suggestions. Okay, I'm gonna count down. So if no immediate questions or comments or input, again, please contact me if you think of something that we should be looking at doing. Yeah, you know how to get hold of me. Make sure you do that. And also at the end of this meeting, if you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to do that. I guess Eric has some thoughts there.
Sure, but maybe I think Bruce was ahead of me, so I'm happy to wait till he's done.
Oh, sorry. Bruce, you want to go first?
Yeah, good presentation. I noticed one thing watching all this, all the pictures are in the daylight and it's all great conditions, and it seldom happens that way. You talk emergency situations, and I think one slide talked about autonomy and sensors and such was important, but kind of the other areas, airframe durability, dealing with things, weather and things like that. So I think that's an important part of that. Some is covered by autonomy, but making things so you can get more operations, bad conditions, night operations, fires, disasters, and such. So, but I think good coverage overall. But that was kind of one area that stood out to me.
Hey, Bruce, I think you're absolutely right. I should more emphasize that I'm 100% with you. Of course, we may have to start in the IFR type operation, but getting to the VFR, I'm sorry, we may start with the VFR operation, get into instrument flights or conventional terminology, but with the increased sensing and navigation and autonomy capability that should enable more of a night mission or bad weather conditions. I think that's absolutely required. We can say, hey, the weather is not good, or hey, the sun is down, I'm not going. That doesn't work. We definitely, that should be all our goal for sure. Absolutely. 100% with you. Thank you. Hey, Eric, you want to go?
Oh, thanks, Johnny. This is great, hugely important. I guess the question I have is, what do you see as the specific next steps that you're looking for members of the working group to provide help with? I mean, leaving aside the thing I'm working on separately, that you're well aware of in terms of a white paper, which is maybe tangential to this topic. I know you had talked about, for instance, like the high schools and other basically emergency landing sites. I mean, is there, as an example, some activity around someone trying to put together some sort of a database or logging that, or what specifically would you like, people to help with?
Yeah, good question. Very good point. What I'm thinking, if I were to say the number one matter that our member can contribute to this cause, we have a membership from very broad background and affiliations and so on. If we all can reach out our network and to educate, let your network know about the possibility, how far have we gone, and it's forthcoming, it will happen, engaging from all different aspects. I think not just the end user engagement, which I think is critically important, but since our membership are very broad, that's one of our benefits. This working group has so many different people from different backgrounds. If we can all reach out and communicate, I think get the words out, get the understanding, get people to get interested to learn more. I think that will make a huge difference because you can't imagine the amplification power that this working group possesses. I think that's number one. And of course, I think also anybody who's willing to engage in Go Aero effort, be a coach, be a team, provide lecture, useful, meaningful, technical, operational lecture so that all the Go Aero participants can benefit from. I think that would be a wonderful contribution because the functionality and the efforts are also closely related. And many other things, as you said, maybe like a database and so on. So what I'm hoping for is that through engagement, we can find, we already have OEM developing platform or OEM have platform that can be adopted for some of the missions. So if we can also try to reach out and find end user, fire chief, the forest fire, CAL FIRE, the police chief that may be interested in saying, you know what, I want to learn more. And some of them, one of them, two of them may say, you know what, I'm going to put into my operational planning for the next year or two to start trial operation on this thing here. If we can do that, if you have any connection that you can, or connection to a connection I think finding willing early adapters will be very, very helpful.
So I'm hearing it in two summary points, maybe education and outreach
Yes.
as being some of the key asks of the members here.
Okay, I'm going to have you help writing a lot of reports because you can summarize in in 2 words. But absolutely, exactly. Yeah. I was describing a lot of details, but you're absolutely right. That's a key point.
No problem.
All right.
Excellent. Just want to make sure you've got people engaged. You want to make sure you utilize that and direct it.
Yeah, and that's why we have a working group, right? Yeah. Thank you. Any other thoughts, questions? Hey, Stan, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so my question is US leading this thing, or there are other countries that also working on it at the moment?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I should probably make that point that this is a global effort. I mean, saving life, there's no boundary, there's no country, there's no region, whatever. Some areas, in some cases, we may be in the U.S. In the urban or in the certain area, we have more general aviation flying around. That we have to focus on developing ways to avoid the safety of flight for the first responder, when they needed it. But in some areas or some state even, or some country, some regions, that may not be the case, and therefore the risk of running into another eVTOL or another general aviation airplane is much lower. That may actually enable even earlier adoption the production of this kind of mission. So, and certain platform, well, let me put it this way. I think the mission will be, in the big picture, it will be similar. But in practice, in detail, how to operate in UK, the environment, the landscape, the population distribution, the medical facility locations are likely to be different than in Louisiana. Okay, so the big picture, I think, is the same. The goal or the big picture definition is the same, but that's why I think the local engagement, the end user engagement, are critically important because we need to tailor the capability and the operation, the mode of operation, to local needs and regional needs, or whatever that situation is. So, but no, it's absolutely global. Thank you for bringing it up. All right. With that, I think what we can do is go to the second part of our presentation, and just a little recap on some of the things that we talked about at the roundtable session. It's that was at the TVF 2024 in Santa Clara Convention Center in February 7th. That was a opportunity because many of our members happened to be able to attend the conference. So we took the opportunity to set up a roundtable discussion so we can face-to-face and yell at each other. No, not really. We have a really wonderful exchange. So took some notes. I tried to summarize some of the key points here. By the way, we have over a dozen people over there that in the conference session. So I really appreciate everybody's contribution and openness and the discussion that we have over there. Here's just some of the notes. So please, if you were there and I missed some of the key points, let me know. I will add it to this page. A few things that I kind of abstract from our discussions. One is the AI autonomy. I think everybody realized how fast the AI industry is moving, which can in my view, I think in many people's view, to help advancing the autonomous operations of the eVTOL and AAM platform and systems. And which also, the capability, like a 360-degree sensing and object recognition capability was critically important and meaningful and useful. Of course, advanced computing, the AI training, learning, processing. Some of you have seen that NVIDIA just announced a new processor as compared to the Hopper was the current generation. The next one, Blackwell, is order of magnitude faster and more capable. It's just amazing. And with that kind of capability, I'm hoping that we can ride a bandwagon, take advantage of that capability advancement to enable sooner and faster and more capable autonomy development. And of course, all that has to be operator friendly, and AI autonomy can provide that feature, I think. Of course, when we get together, I point out that the roundtable is not limited to public service mission only, but also for commercial operation. But this particular one was focused on, say, okay, public services, audience, both are critical. We kind of touched on that earlier. Both internal and external. Internal, I assume that we mean within the industry. And external, be any engaging community, environment, end user, supporting organization, all that stuff. So, and of course, greater good vision, partnership with Go Aero, selfless, okay, and public safety. I think that's without saying. Leveraging existing infrastructure, as we say, we need to take advantage of existing available infrastructure, charging, landing sites, whatever, or even ability to land without repair site. Of course, communicate, educate, and amplify. Link up to what we just talked about. Both local and regional community engagement will be critically important. And really, link out right to what we just talked about. So perfect leading to this. And of course, hardware development, the first person experience. As I say, after I have flown the eVTOL, I said, hey, if I can fly it, I think 98% of the first responder will be able to handle it. Of course, flying outside of a confined geo-fenced area will require more than just an hour training, but the actual flying is reasonably easy. Is the airspace knowledge, the airmanship, and so on, that will be require more training and more studies. But I think it's order of magnitude simpler than conventional flight vehicles. And there was a suggestion, talk about the possibility of some kind of video, white paper validating Go Aero mission. Actually, we're going to, so that's interesting. We're still scratching our head to see, okay, how we're going to organize this video part of it. We might be able to open for some suggestions from our team member here. But of course, white paper, we're going to talk about that right after this page. And one more suggestion was the white paper for true wildfire solution, because wildfire is a tricky business and the environment is very challenging. And what can eVTOL do to complement it doesn't have the fire suppressant carrying capability. So what do you use it for? How we use it? One of my idea has been dear to my heart is that one of the good use cases was fireman extraction. We drop firemen into firefighters into the fire zones and so on. When the wind changing directions, we have difficulty to get them out in time sometimes. With eVTOL, with a special landing gear features and so on, we may be able to, in case of need, we can quickly extract them, move them away from the approaching fire even just 10, 15 miles away, extraction would be sufficient to keep them safe. And of course, all those different missions, different use cases, early suppression and control and so on, we need can use a specific white paper target to that. So that would be one of the potential future white paper topics we want to look at. So that's a quick sum on the roundtable that we talk about. And so I like to leverage that to look into, say, okay, the future focus and value to the industry and working group members. Okay, so just a couple of questions to us. What does team member look to get from our working group, and what to accomplish? And the next question is, what do we think we can and should do to make a difference? So that's really the two questions I'd like to pose to our team members. Think about it. Don't have to have the immediate answer, but that's critical for everybody to think about. Just a couple of things, we talked about the outreach and user engagement, critical. I think without that part, we may be shooting in the dark. So this is critical, important to make sure that we, as a working group, are working and toward the meaningful, useful goal. And of course, mission specific eVTOL could be a short field takeoff landing, could be conventional takeoff landing. So all kinds of platforms can be useful. And as a working group, we have a lot of technical expertise and manufacturing and certification, knowledge, know-how, and so on. So we should try to participate, engage, and offer any help that we can for the industry. Some of the interim members may be lacking certain aspect of the knowledge base, and we may be able to help and make a difference. This is talk about the use case mission demonstration work. As I said earlier, we like to find early adopters or possible end users to start to bridge the gap between the platform system and how to start trial using them. Once we start using them, just like the drone implementation, now it's everywhere. It's being used very effectively. But at the very beginning, the industry took a little while to learn how to really take advantage of the capability. That's a newfound capability that didn't have before. It took a little iteration, and I think we need to go through that as well. All right, moving into this, what we talked about the white paper, Dr. Povell, Marilena Povell. The left-hand side is where we show the last white paper we published through NASA with many people, and Dr. Povell is a key contributor to that. Without her, we probably won't have that report completed. And Dr. Povell, we have multiple dialogue. And by the way, in case I forget to mention, Dr. Povell is our working group co-chair. I'm really appreciate that she's willing to take on that burden. It's and hopefully we, Dr. Povell is at the Delft Technical University in Netherlands. I think it's kind of late in the evening as well. Are you online, Dr. Povell? If you are, feel free to join me to talk about this. So we go back and forth on what's the next white paper topic that we can focus on. And consider, also, the overall working group has been putting together some good material on our personal compact eVTOL subject. So we have a good base to start with. So here's why we sort of thinking this may be a good white paper for the next one. As I said earlier, that the Go Aero is a great leading, and it's going to attract way more attention to this topic than we have before the Go Aero launch on the first responder operation, mission, competition, and so on. It's going to get global attention, interest to this. And also, I think many of us are aware of the light sport. Now, in addition to the 103 light, ultralight category for compact units, which limit to a single person operation and so on, but the light sports aircraft category is going through major rewrite by FAA as a mosaic rewrite. They have just closed the final public input session. I think it's a couple of weeks ago. And now the ball's in FAA's hand to review every one of those comments and input and refine the final ruling and publish the final updates on the light sports aircraft rules. And which, on one thing that we are pretty sure will stay in the update is including removing the word of internal combustion engine terminology, so that will open up the wide ability to cover the eVTOL, electric propulsion and battery powered and so on. So that is hopefully is going to broaden many of the single-seater, two-seater, in possibility even beyond that, capability-wise. In operations, and what can we use it for? There's still limitations, not for hire and so on, but we'll see what the final ruling comes out. But personally, based on just my knowledge, I think that's going to broaden and almost a game changer for the possibility of enabling personal compact eVTOL product design, development, production, operation, and so on. So that's going to be, if we can link up those two major activities that are ongoing right now, I think the personal compact eVTOL revolution is going to be a very timely white paper. So that's yeah, Marlene and I, we just yesterday we had a long discussion on this again, that we sort of kind of propose that this can be, for one thing, we have a good starting point, a good base to work on. Secondly, it's timely. It's probably going to be useful for many, many potential readers and so on. So that's kind of where we stand. And we're going to be engaging, asking for many people to contribute to this part of it. And there's also, of course, some detailed specifics. This is just some notes. Okay, I kind of share some of these notes at the roundtable, and all those are useful, critical, importance, and kind of capture some of the brainstorming session between me and Dr. Povell and some other members' contribution inputs on this topic. It may be a little bit much, and one of the feedback we got from the roundtable was that we may not be able to cover every topic here. We may have to leave some to the next report, but it's more a note-taking. So just want to share that with everybody, so that if you see something or if you have other that you want to comment on, you want to send us a note or give me a call or whatever. Or Dr. Povell, okay, don't forget, feel free to call her about her. And if you have any additional point that you think we should be included, either on this white paper or the next one, please let us know. And here's a couple additional white paper that's on the table. One is the eVTOL industry revolution, prototyping, from prototyping to
screen, a specific screen. I'm not sure that the screen I think I'm seeing at least, it looks like it's your first cover slide.
Oh, really?
I thought I would just let you know.
That's interesting, because on my part is showing everywhere. All right, so my apology. Resume share. Is that okay? That's the wrong one. That's the one that we already finished. Stop sharing. All right, back to the learning session. Okay. All right, share screen. Let's see. Okay, this one. Are you seeing that one?
This is the agenda screen with some different
Yep.
timestamps. Is that what you did?
Yeah, that's the one.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for letting me know. Okay. So anyway, this is some future topic, potential topic. The reason I put down the left-hand topic, top one, is about the scaling, production, high volume production. That's going to be, look at where the industry is, the eVTOL industry. This is not just public service limitation, but this is a broader overall industry challenge. I talked to PK, the director of NARI of NASA, and I asked him just a couple of weeks ago, I asked him, what is the number one challenge that you see for the industry? And he and I talked about this before, and I asked him, just still scaling production? He said yes and yes. So basically, that's dear to his heart, and I think it is potentially a very good white paper topic that we may engage. I want everybody's input, whether we should focus on the next one after the personal one on that one. Of course, there's also the wildfire solution, which we talk about. And the dynamic infrastructure may not necessarily be a white paper. I have a discussion agreement with SAE that can turn into a edge report. So it didn't have to be as big as a white paper. So here's just some of the possibilities. And if I go back to this one, that's where we think we are probably better positioned to work on, and the timing that we try to do this one. Dr. Povell and I sort of saying, if we drag out too long, it's going to be difficult for everybody, for the contributors and editors and so on. So possibly we're trying to target to get this one worked out and published, hopefully in 2024. And hopefully it's not December 32nd. So with that, I'm going to basically, seeking inputs and comments and suggestions.
This looks like a good topic. Can appreciate that. I guess cover some key areas. I also really like I know you just said a moment ago, maybe it's not a white paper, but some other mechanism. But I also like the effort around trying to figure out the dynamic infrastructure piece, because I think in the end for public safety, I suspect there won't be sufficient fixed infrastructure in place or in the places where it's needed. So I think being able to address that, my gut, not being as knowledgeable as others on this call, my gut would be that will be a very important topic to be addressed, and to kind of typically when my gut is that when people need an emergency service, it's obviously it's by definition an emergency and therefore surprising in many cases. So in that regard, preparing in advance for surprises, I think seems a very useful activity.
Good. All right, good. I'm glad you see it that way as well. I live in the Gulf Coast, and so I can speak in personal experience that when a hurricane comes through your house, for one thing, you can't know exactly which trajectory it's going to take. Between the European forecast, NASA forecast, the different computer modeling on the trajectory, we can roughly know where it may go, but we don't know for sure. So we can pre-position some resources, but have to be further away enough. And after the hurricane passes, we move in. So, but in most cases, I can almost guarantee that guess what we're going to not have? Power. So if we have eVTOL that need charging, forget about the local power charging stations because they're gone. They're not operating. Sure, it's on the priority to be repaired, but we, for first response and so on, that we can't wait. So, yeah, dynamic infrastructure. That's kind of what I'm referring to. That sometimes we do need the ability to move in with some mobile capabilities quickly. So yeah, thank you for the input.
No problem.
All right. Any other thoughts, suggestions?
Johnny, hello, Marilena. I'm here.
Good to have you.
Yes, I'm here. I was listening to you.
Good,
Yes,
good,
hello,
good,
good
good.
evening from-
Yeah, any additional comments?
Yes,
Thoughts?
good
Yeah,
evening
please.
from Europe. I was today was on McKinsey organized on a session on the personal air mobility on the path. I know, Andy, if you if you joined that, but it was a very interesting one, and it was exactly on that part 103, and challenges and the market that is on that side. And one of the builders was saying that, yeah, we need to build to have a safety of 10 to -7, and at the moment they are at 10 to -6. So yeah, I think a white paper in this area, going on the 1 person, 2 persons, would be interesting and connected to the Go Aero.
Yeah,
So-
you're absolutely right. I was on. I attended the McKinsey session this morning as well.
Okay.
You are absolutely right. I mean, it's I say, wow, this is exactly perfect link up to what we're talking about here. So
Yeah.
I took some notes on some of the CEO COO was talking about. It's yeah, it's great. I mean,
Okay, oh, that's great. So we will have some sessions brainstorming, and then try to define a kind of a template or something that we can work on, and ask your input.
absolutely. I think we'll probably. Oh, by the way, for everybody, Dr. Pavel and I, we can't talk about yesterday that the way to move forward is he and I will try to lay out the framework, and knowing some of the text we have created by the team, and we can create this framework, and then bring in additional team members, contributors to brainstorm to refine that framework, and then we'll plug in the additional detailed contents that we may not have written just yet. So that's what we thought to be the step forward. So we may have what I call the offline work sessions specific on this white paper. Anyone who's willing to join and contribute, please send me an email, or send me and Dr. Pavel an email, so that we make sure that we know that you're willing and able to contribute. Okay. Well, with that, I think we are at the time for conclude today's meeting. Again, thanks, Dr. Pavel, and thank everybody attending, and thanks everyone, because this is a super meaningful and engaging working group. So thanks, everybody. Thank you so much. See you next time.